You're chief brand officer at Uber. You're the head of global marketing at Beats by Dre.
Okay guys, welcome back to my channel. This episode is a little bit special because I am doing it at my lake house. We are here for the Easter break, and I'm going to be doing these videos over here for the next few days since I'm here. But let's get down to business. Today I'm going to be diving into a topic that has been just bubbling under the surface for a very long time, but also it is very close to my heart because I am a woman of color. So let's dive into it. Let's talk about the rise of unrelatable black women. I'm talking about the rise of a black woman who does not beg for the spotlight, who doesn't ask for access. She just owns his space. I'm talking about women like Megan Sussex. I'm talking about Nara Aziza, Bonang Matewa, as well as Bozoma St. John. These are the top women that I would like to focus on today. These are powerhouses. These are women who have clearly broken the glass ceiling. Okay, 4 women, different backgrounds, but all of them are living a life that the world did not prepare for them and actually did not expect them to live. Okay, so recently the show With Love by Megan graced our screen. The show came on Netflix, With Love Megan, and it was very controversial. People were talking. It seemed like there was a lot of negative stuff that people were saying about the show until there was a little bit of a glimmer of light. I've always felt like that Meghan Markle was just bullied because you don't always get what the real stories were, but it's like people just didn't like her, but you couldn't like put your fingers on it. Why do they not like this woman? Always something that they don't like about her. They've called her a narcissist. They've called her many things that I would not repeat on this channel. But one of the things that I started to pay attention to, especially after her show, was the fact that we just skimmed over. We just went through something similar with Nara Aziza. She has been facing a lot of backlash, a lot of internet hate, and then I just started looking at the two and comparing. What is it about these women that just aggravate people? What is about them that just make people hate them? And I think it came down to this one thing. To most people, they are unrelatable. They are living this lifestyle that was never meant for people who are brown, black women like her. And they are now in our screens. We see them every day living this soft life, and it's just not sitting well with a lot of people. First, let's start with Nara Aziza. A few months back, there was a lot of hate that was directed at her. In fact, it was really hard to pin down what was the issue that people heard with her. If it was about the videos, the very crazy elaborate videos of her cooking and making meals for her family, or it was because she was a child wife and living a life that was not sustainable for most, or people that couldn't relate to, or the fact that she married Lucky, who seemed to be, or at least people assumed and said that he was a Trump supporter, or the fact that the life that she lives, she's on Glamour magazine, she's on Vogue front, she is just living this magnified lifestyle, and it's not sitting well with a lot of people. And it felt like a lot of people were just sort of grabbing, this is what we don't like it, this is why so many moving parts to why people did not like her, but not really any concrete or solid reason they did not like this woman. So I just watched that as it happened. Then Meghan Markle showed up, and we know she's not a new, we know who she is. We know she married the prince. We know that she is not new to media critics. She's not new to the public eye. But also, there was just a theme comparing these two women at first, to me at least, that these people are just so hated, but not anyone can actually give you the solid reason why they dislike them. With Meghan Markle, the show came out just most recently, With Love Megan. You either loved it or hated, but I watched and I followed, I watched the show. I enjoyed it myself and I thought it was really cute. But of course, as Nara Aziza and Meghan Markle, both these shows are scripted. They are kind of set, it's a show. So I am pretty sure that Nara does not make these elaborate meals in her house every day, but that she does make food from scratch. But it doesn't mean that this is her life. This is what she does every day. And so you come with Meghan Markle, some of the conversations were just really, broken down and discussed, like who doesn't know this, who doesn't know that. It is a show. It is a show, whether we do like it or not. Some of these shows are very, very much scripted. So there was just a lot of feedback that was coming through, but also one of them, which I thought was mostly very much honesty, was that they are very, very unrelatable. So yes, these are the two things that Nara and Meghan Markle have. They live a very luxurious life, a soft life, a life that was not created for people like her. So there is actually a rise of unrelatable black women. It's just these two are the ones that we have seen just coming forward, gracing our TV screens and our social media everywhere. Everybody is talking about them, but this is not a new phenomenon. I sense that this issue of not seeing black women living a luxurious style, living a life that is prosperous and rich and wealthy and successful, is more of the Western problem. Because if you live in Nigeria or South Africa, or if you've ever visited those countries, you would actually see how glamorous, luxurious, and how amazing these black women from our other countries live, as compared to at least what is not expected in the Western world. So this trauma or this reaction mostly comes from the West, and that is my opinion. I will stop at that. With Meghan Markle, we grew up all watching Cinderella movies. We always knew that the prince was going to come and save the princess. And these are the conversation, honestly, that has been heard so many times, that the representation of black women did not exist during our time. When we were born, when we were growing up, most of these TV shows were mainly made for people of a certain skin tone. And so it was like that. A prince marries the princess and they sail into their future, and end of story. There was no representation of seeing soft life black princesses. Again, this is only a Western phenomena. If you go to African countries, we are used to princes and princesses. We are used to having chiefs and their wives. We are used to this type of lifestyle. Swaziland, South Africa, they have princes and queens. I specifically know and have seen that black princes and black princesses do exist, and that is why I am saying that I think that maybe this is mostly the problem in the West, where these types of lives were not like in their forefront. They did not see this lifestyle. So going back to that, we see the prince and the princess, they are usually from this type of family, and it's always such a taboo to marry someone who is not the prince. You know how the story goes. Same story, but different characters. Anyway, but now we saw what happened with Meghan Markle. She met the prince, the real life Prince Harry from England. And, this is the guy that we know everything about him. He's been in the media. He is kind of a rebel. We know. We've read stories about him. He loves Africa. He loves to live this type of lifestyle. He's been a man who's been living a life in a public eye. So we know him. We know the stories about him. And then it shouldn't have been a surprise. It should have not come as a surprise to his family and to everyone who watched him really grow up, that he will probably marry a commoner or even a black woman, because we know that he's just one of those people who've always not abide by the rules. So anyway, he grows up and he meets Meghan Markle. She is not only a Hollywood actress, she is a divorcee, she is an advocate for women's rights, she is just also a philanthropist herself, and they get along, they hit it off, and finally they get married, and the world seemed like, we are in for this. But she came with a voice. She came in that marriage already Meghan Markle. She was already a powerhouse in her own. I am not going to dive into what happened there. We were not there. But Prince Harry did not make Meghan Markle. But I do think that like the fact that she now comes in and she lives this life has made a lot of people just like, it doesn't sit well with a lot of people. While I'm talking about Nara and Megan, I also want to dive into the interracial love phenomenon, because we know that that was not a thing as well. It wasn't illegal, and when it did become illegal, when it became sort of normalized, this relationship where normally women who were dating like an older guy had been married for a very long time, and it was usually seen as a gold digger sugar daddy type of relationship. They were just done with life, going through midlife crisis, and they will usually go and date a younger black woman who was sometimes previously disadvantaged financially. And so this is what we saw when I grew up. These are the type of relationships with interracial relationships that I used to see, and it's like, you know, nobody wants that, but that was normalized, and that was okay because nobody wants those old men anyway, or at least nobody wanted them but the people that ended up with them. Now we are seeing this love with mutual power, okay? As soon as we started going to the same schools together, these white boys, blue eyes and blonde hair, they started to say, you know what, I might just like me some chocolate. They started to date outside of their race. You know, they started dating, exploring relationship with brown skinned women. These were people that were equally educated. These were people that also made the equal amount of money, and also they were also in closer proximity in age. So this was kind of like a different power shift in interracial relationships, because it was a fair game. These were young men who were gorgeous and young and fighting for their lives, now also wanting to date women in their age group, or women who were also just as successful as them, or vice versa. So this was like equal play, and it kind of just leveled the playground, and the competition got a little bit rough for everybody else. So you can see it there now. It's like, you know, Nara with her billionaire husband, you have over here Meghan Markle with the prince, and these are people that are just like normal relationship. You can't call her a gold digger, you can't call him a sugar daddy. They just really authentically fell in love with one another and decided that they are going to build a family. Again, this is also something new. This is something that people do not embrace. Yes, they may embrace it in terms of like not wealth, okay? They may embrace it if it's just a regular Joe from next door who has a job at the gas station or whatever. But these are powerful people. These are relationships that are out there, very powerful, very influential. This is what happens when society grows and catches up to the truth. Black women are beautiful, powerful, and yes, they are relatable to people who actually know that, who expect that. Meghan married a prince. Nara married a gorgeous supermodel. Bonang Mateba married a soft life. She literally built her empire on champagne, designer drip, and diamond level influence without an approval from any gatekeepers. Let's talk about Bonang Matema and Bozoma. I am hopeful that I am not pronouncing her name incorrectly. But Bonang Mateba is a businesswoman, while, you know, Bozoma is a corporate baddie. So these are two powerful women that have done incredibly well in their careers. One is a television personality. We know she built a champagne brand. She's been on TV and radio for a very long time. She's won awards doing what she does, and then she even had her own television show. So Bonang is a household name in South Africa, and she did this all by herself, being a single woman, just like breaking barriers and making sure that she is always elevating herself and the brand. This also is a picture that is actually very normal in South Africa. Bonang Mateba is not the only one who's done this successfully. There are a lot of women in South Africa and Africa that have done this. So we know people, women who, whether they have a husband or they do not, that are breaking barriers, that are just so unrelatable because they live these extravagant, ginormous lifestyles. And when people see that in other, you know, areas, they might think, oh, you know, this is not a norm. But again, a lot of people that live in South Africa, in Nigeria, in some of these amazing, beautiful African countries, they know that this is actually very normal. Glamour and beauty, money and fame, and all of this, the soft life is actually very normal in some of these communities.
You look gorgeous.
I know.
I am a fan of yours. You are a marketing genius, by the way.
Yes, that is also correct.
Yeah, for anyone not familiar with your career prior to the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, can I just go through some things that you've done? You were chief marketing officer at Netflix. You were... Oh, get ready. You were chief brand officer at Uber. You're the head of global marketing at Beats by Dre, Apple Music, and iTunes.
Yes.
You're the head of music and entertainment marketing at Pepsi, and did Super Bowl halftime shows like Beyonce, Bruno Mars, etc. You were named Billboard's Female Executive of the Year, and you were inducted into the American Marketing Hall of Fame. Come on now.
I also have to highlight that also she's African, but you know, she grew up in the United States. She's worked, she has an incredible resume. She built herself up and she worked as a corporate marketing, you know, personnel who executive for these incredible companies. This is a woman who has also proven to say if you work hard and you thrive hard, you can live. It's a definition of a soft life. Even though she's in corporate industry, she's not relatable because these are positions again that were not reserved for people like her. But she was able to come and say, you know, I'm gonna bulldoze this thing. I am going to show up for myself. I'm gonna show up for my community. And she did it, okay? And she did it, and she is just so amazing and phenomenal. This is the rise of these women. We're talking about the princess on the throne. We're talking about the model and housewife. We're talking about the businesswoman woman. We're talking about corporate women. These are women who are all thriving in their roles, in their definitive places where they've chosen to spend their lives. So we are seeing them on the rise. So the confusion that people are feeling, we are so uncomfortable with this, they are so unrelatable, or they are so cringe. Not just jealousy, you know, it's confusion that is caused by inherited bias. Because historically, black women were just domestic workers, maids and nannies. And like when it comes to Hollywood, they were always cast as help and never heroines or heroes. In the 1930s, 90% of employed black women were domestic workers. And Hollywood didn't help much with their movies and the narrative that they always push, depicting black women as unchosen and unseen. But now here comes Nara, here comes Bonang, here comes Megan, here comes Bozoma, and all of these women are just occupying spaces that were not meant for them. And they are doing it without apologizing, and they are also thriving. So, of course, like the old excuses are not working. Sugar daddy, sugar mama, gold digger, those are not working right now, okay? So the only thing that they can say is, oh, they are so cringe, they are so unrelatable. You can't say that it's a fetish anymore with people that have been in relationship with each other for more than 10 years and have built families together. You can't say they are sugar daddy, sugar mama because, you know, sis brought her own bag in the relationship. All of these women, you know, they are main character. They brought legacy to the relationship. They weren't just elevated by the husband that they married. They brought the elevation. This is what happens when the door is kicked down and the throne is claimed. We have to take a pause for Bonang because she is not married to any prince, okay? She's not just South African royalty. She's global black girl luxury personified. She turned style into a weapon, champagne into a brand. She's proof that you do not need a man to be elite. But if he shows up, he better know what he's dealing with. So when people say that these women are unrelatable, this is what they won't say out loud. They can't relate. And that's a real threat. Because black women weren't supposed to be rich, soft, adored. They were supposed to struggle, to earn it, to be humbled. But what happens when they inherit the ease? They skip the struggle when they become the standard. That's where the hate comes from. Not because they are unlikable, it's because they are unforgettable. They are a sign that history has changed. All these women that I mentioned on my video today are not exceptions. They are just evidence. The brown woman is not just arriving in the room, she's redefining the room. We've always been in the room. We've just been kept. If you are one of those people that watch these women and something just makes you feel uncomfortable and you can't put your finger on it. You just seem to be grabbing on something. I don't feel comfortable. I don't like this. And it is so unrelatable. You have to ask yourself, are they the problem? Or is it about you experiencing these women having the power that you were not taught that they will have? Is it like something, a fracture between what you are seeing or what you were taught? Could it be the miscommunication between what you are seeing and what you were taught, or what you expected black women would be? Could it be uncomfortable because they are unrelatable to you, because what you were taught didn't teach you that black women could also live a soft life, could be loved, could be chosen, could break barriers and become powerful, whether they are married or not? Like, this conversation, it is so much broader because it encompasses a lot of history, from, you know, women being black women be seen as maids, to black women marrying in, you know, international relationship, to black women holding higher positions or even have the audacity to own a champagne brand. These are conversations that are really a big deal because these women are showing us that this is who we are. This is who we've always been. But maybe because of social media, because of TV, because of media, we now are seeing more of this lifestyle, and it's just like, no, but why do they get to have it? Because this life was meant for me. You have to ask yourself, are you just uncomfortable because you believe subconsciously that they are living a life that was meant for you or for someone who doesn't look like them? And I can understand as well if there are other black people that say, I cannot relate, they are not relatable to me, and that may as well be true. But is it also because of your own subconscious beliefs that those things were not meant for black women? Why is it unrelatable? Why is it difficult for your mind to comprehend? It is happening, whether you like it or not, whether you believe it or not. They are on the rise, unrelatable, powerful, strong, and they are here to claim what was already theirs, and we are here for it. So we have come at the end of this episode, guys. Thank you for watching. I was trying to keep my voice down so my neighbors don't hear it, but also let me show you guys the view from where I'm sitting. Okay, that's it. That is the episode for today. I will see you guys again tomorrow. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you guys again tomorrow.